The first step to learning how to get girls is learning how to learn. But a lot of guys have no idea about this because of how they've been socialized and brainwashed. So we'll discuss how to move forward from this. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the Man Alive channel, where we talk about all things cold approach, specifically cold approach, right? How to change your dating life through cold approach. My name is Shaka. I'll be your channel host, I guess, as it is. Um, Welcome back to anybody who's watched content before. Thank you for coming back. And if this is helpful, like and comment below. Or let anyone else you know who might benefit from this know about this. So let's get right into this. This is a very, very important lesson. I don't even want to do the whole, whatever. Whoever's looking for coaching, one-on-one group, etc. The phone, virtual. You can hit me with a line or a message at Shaka Piankowski Wix site, Man Alive. I leave the link there because I've also written a blog post about this very topic. I've written a few times about it, but I think this is the most in-depth one that I've done so far. I probably will do another one even later down the road. But this topic is very, very, very important, because a lot of guys come in with the mentality of, I'm just going to do my first approach or first two approaches or first however many approaches, and the girls are just going to come to me, right? It's just going to be so easy, and I won't have to adjust. I won't have to make mistakes. I won't have to, uh, you know, recover from doing or saying this silly thing or this stupid thing, right? The process is going to be easy. In actuality, the process of learning has been socialized out of us. We do have to start in some technical terms. So the process has been socialized out of us. When we go to school, you're penalized for making mistakes. Mistakes are bad. They're the devil, right? You should never make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you're a mistake. You're a loser, right? In school, they reward you for right answers. They never encourage you to go back and learn what you don't know, to take a chance to explore the unknown, to expand yourself in that way, right? And if you don't get something right immediately, it isn't worth doing. It isn't worth spending your time on. Obviously, the school system was, as many people know, because information is disseminated, it's everywhere now. The school system was designed to make robots of sorts, right? Was designed to make nice worker bees who fit in their place, who do what they're told, who are too afraid to take a chance on themselves, right? For fear that they won't survive. It's fear of survival, right? Fear of fitting in with everyone else as social beings. Our social essence is fuels the fear of survival, right? Because we survive in groups, we survive in communities, we survive with each other, not alone as a hermit, for the most part. So even the most remote person survives in community. And this fear is exploited on so many levels because what people fail to understand is that making mistakes is the process of learning, right? It's socialized out of us, but it's really the only way to learn anything. When you started walking as a child, what happened? You fell, you bumped your head, you skinned your knee, your elbow was almost broken in half, and finally you made enough mistakes over a long enough period of time to where you started to be able to walk as a toddler. Right now, obviously the process goes, holding your head up and Google Gaga forming words. It's all the same thing, right? It extrapolates to the same thing, right? Riding a bicycle, the same thing. You're skinning your knee, you're skinning your elbow, you almost hit your head 8 times, right? On the concrete, you almost gave yourself a concussion. And finally, after all this junk, you can ride a bike now. This is the same process for cold approach. It's the same process for anything. You want to learn how to play basketball. Guess what? You're going to suck for a long ass time, depending on how intensely you're playing, how long you're playing, right? Your routine schedule that's set. You're going to suck for a long time. You're going to be terrible as you pick up the nuances of the game, as you start to understand what you're doing, right? As you start to apply the technique that's there in a way that kind of seems like it's coming to you, right? You're going to be all over the place until you're not. It doesn't matter if it's badminton, it doesn't matter if it's swimming, it doesn't matter if it's going to the gym, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. This extrapolates to everything that matters in life. Relationships, same thing, right? Very few people start out marrying the first person that they're in relationship with. They go through a string of relationships, some short, some long. And what do? You pick up little bits and pieces you learn along the way to make a relationship work, so that the further you go, the less small short break relationships you have, and you can build one that actually matters, that's beautiful, that's wonderful, that's grand to experience and to behold. That's the process of everything. That's the process of cold approach. You're going to start out just focusing on your approaches, and you're going to bomb and fail and say every stupid thing, and you're going to look as scared as hell, and you're going to look creepy, you're going to look weird, you're going to sound weird, you're going to sound like an idiot, all the way up until you do not. Because slowly but surely you're correcting, you're course correcting, you're doing things different, you're trying different things. What if I stand like this instead? What if I stand hunched over, right? What if I project my voice a little bit more? What if I sound a little bit more shy when I open? What if I do all? You have to experiment. It's experimentation, the scientific process, right? Experiment, 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 experiment until you get it right, or just fail, quote unquote. You make mistakes up until you get it right. And again, I think there's probably going to be some people who won't really understand why there's a need to go over this stuff. But a lot of people who get into the community, even people who are in the community, really don't understand that this is the only way to learn anything. If you're into coding, programmers, right? A lot of programming guys, IT guys like to get into this stuff because, they want the girls, and, you know, they obviously, but the same way they learn coding, which is by making a bunch of mistakes everywhere until you finally get a little thing right. You celebrate that little thing. You go over what you did right when you got it right, and you test it. You test it as a theory. Okay, I think I got this right. So let me go and focus on this little piece, test it as a theory 50 other times. And maybe you will be proven correct, maybe you will be proven wrong, right? But it's the process of experimentation, learning, making mistakes, falling flat on your face, flat on your back, all over the place, until you finally start to make some headway. You finally break through. You finally start to get some traction. Finally, right? It's a long game. It's a long game. You don't hop in for quick results, right? You hop in to learn how to do things correctly so that later you can get the results that you want. But you have to understand that, right? You have to learn how to learn. You have to understand that making mistakes, is the bulk of what you're going to be doing. Not looking cool, not looking good, not being smooth, making mistakes. Once you are okay with that, mentally, spiritually, right? Let it sink down into your essence that I am okay. I'm going to go out and fall flat on my face, figuratively, because there is no other way to get good. There is no other way to do this. Some people might think that other people giving you their advice and their experience will save you the trouble of making mistakes. It does not. It does not. You still must make ample mistakes on your own. It might cut you a little bit of a corner here or a little bit of a corner there, but overall, you still got to make a ton of mistakes. You're right. The resume has to be piled high of attempts that didn't go anywhere. One or two won't do it. One or two doesn't do it. 5 doesn't do it. 50 doesn't do it. You're not learning anything yet, right? You're so new, you're so fresh, you're so scared, especially in the beginning, you can't even focus on details of what you're doing. You're so scared. You're so in your own head. You're so worried about what's this person saying and what's she saying and what's that one saying and how do I look, right? You're so worried about everything. You can't even focus on the details of what you're saying, how you come across, what you look like, what you sound like. So you can't even tweak any of those things until you get to a point where approaching seems more routine, seems more regular, right? But this is all the learning process. You get out there, you look and sound stupid until one day, way out in the future, once you've made a consistent enough effort for a consistently long enough time, you do not say or do stupid things ever again. Because you've said and done all of the stupid things there is to say and do, you've learned from it, right? And now you have your reference of what to do instead of just what not to do. So it's key to understanding this. This is why a lot of people don't even get started. They think they're going to bypass this process. There's no way. There's no way. You think you're going to skirt around and maybe I won't have to. There's no way. There is no other way. There is no other way. So, to add something just clicked in my mind while I was explaining it, you're going to go through the period once you're just starting to learn how to approach. You're going to approach, you're going to be scared as hell, terrified, looking crazy. You're going to keep approaching until it no longer terrifies you the same. And once the fear is a little bit lower, then you'll be able to learn. Because you won't be so terrified of doing it. You'll be able to pick up on the small things you do and don't do. You'll be able to tweak and adjust and see whether things work. So you start out, you go through the fear period where it's just terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. You keep doing it regardless until it feels normal. And now once it feels normal is when you're going to do reps just like you did before, but you can actually learn from what you're doing. Same process and everything. Same exact process. I cannot bang this drum enough. I cannot bang this drum enough. This is the reason why the community is the way that it is. Everybody asking, they want to skirt around it somehow. There's no way to skirt around it. When you learn how to ice skate, when you learn how to play cards, to play poker, when you learn how to throw darts, when you learned whatever it was, right? The process was the same. It was the exact same thing. When you learn how to record video, It was the same thing. When you learned how to be a chess whiz, or when you learn how to write scripts, screenplays, when you learn how to write novels, whatever you guys do, whatever the community out there does, was the exact same way. It's going to be here. The exact same way. Embrace it. Run with it. Don't run against it. Don't fight it. There's nothing to fight. There's nothing to go away from, to run away from, because that's the only way you get good, is embracing this process. That's the only way. There is no other way. There is no other way. So this might trigger you. This might depress you. This might make you mad. That's life, because in the end, it's not just cold approach. This is the process of life, of learning anything. But I hope that you have the guts and the cojones and whatever else. Stick in there through the process. Stick in there through the learning, through the trials. And stay strong. You'll get your reward on the other side if you do stay strong. So, I hope this helped. You can continue to listen to it over and over and over again as a reminder when you forget, when it slips out of your mind. The process of learning cold approach is the scientific process. It's making mistakes and looking like a fool and looking like a creep until finally you don't. That's it. That's the only way. So until next time, be well, keep approaching, go through that process.